Hi everyone, welcome to Femme in Flow Talk series. I'm Ishie Perez, founder of the Polycysters Club and Femme in Flow. Femme in Flow is actually it's a passion project, right? I created Femme in Flow as a program inside my community, the Polycysters Club for women with PCOS. But then I thought about the words, right? Femme in Flow. It's like a super beautiful messaging, right? For me, a femme in flow is a woman who is in tune with her feminine power, who, wherever she is in her journey, is very happy, who is in flow, and who is looking at her story that it has a power to empower others as well. So today, I am very honored to have a special guest. She is a friend, and I met her through our group. So we have the same business coach. So, hi, Cassie. Hi. I met Rach. The first time I met her, it was really, she was really inspiring. Like for me, listening to her during our first talk, she really inspired me. And I thought that this woman is really walking her talk. This woman is really showing up for herself every day, and that's why she created Excellence in Motion. So today, I just want to talk to her about her story, how Excellence in Motion came to be, and how is it that she chooses excellence every day, and to show up for her community that she created for herself. That's Excellence in Motion and Letter to a Sister. So I am going to welcome Miss Rachelle Grace San Pedro. Hi,
Hi
Ray.
everyone! A beautiful evening to all of you. Thank you so much, Ishii, for making me the first guest of this Femme in Flow series. I really love it just by the name itself. How is it that we can tap into our personal power as women and become in flow? And we are discussing excellence in motion in flow tonight. And I want to say hi to the Letter to a Sister community. Hello, dear sisters and brothers. Hello to Excellence in Motion. We are being streamed, of course, on Ishi's Polycysters Club, and we are at the Ambitionaires Tribe. Hello!
Hi, guys. Shout out to Cassie for allowing us to stream in her community of ambitionaires. So thank you, Cassie. So hi, Rich. I am very grateful that you answered my call to guest in my show because it's really true. Kasi when I met you during this call, I was really inspired by your story because you were doing this before me. So you were doing this for twice now, right? You launched na before. So, it was really inspiring. And I'm like, wow, this woman is really doing things for herself. She's making it big. So, hi, Jihan. Good evening to all. Excited for tonight. So, hi. So, yun nga. So, Rach is very inspiring for me. And when we talk, it's always very malaman. So I always get inspired, and it's inspiring to the point that I want to move to act right away because that's what she's making me feel in. That I can do anything because she's doing it and I see her do this for herself. So Rach, this talk is about your story and I wanted to know who is Rach before Excellence in Motion.
Okay, so I feel like before Excellence in Motion, I am who I already am today. Just, of course, with a little bit more wisdom, more grace, having come into my own, and fully confident about myself and my message. Who I am before is I've always been someone who loves working with people. I like making people smile. I'm passionate about working with women, women empowerment, and also education for the youth. Those are my jam. Leadership in my corporate career of 16 years. So that's who I am. But also, a big part of it is definitely first and foremost, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a cousin. Many of my inaanaks call me the best ninang ever. So that's who Rachel is, above and beyond this excellence in motion. I'm as real, also a woman who is coming to terms with her femme in flow, like you are, Ishi.
Thanks, Rach. So, why did you come up with excellence in motion? What was the big idea you created excellence in motion?
Okay, so excellence in motion is actually my personal declaration. It's my mantra. So, who among you here in our audience that you are into this declaration, affirmation, visualization, and you believe in the law of attraction, in the power of making things happen by setting intention? So, I'm that kind of person that I believe that by speaking it out, by affirming myself, by declaring who I am, it's going to create a power to manifest it. So my personal declaration is that I am love and excellence in motion. I chose this because excellence is one of the key and the top values that I hold dearly in life. And that goes for both my personal life and my professional life as well. And then, as I keep saying in the Excellence in Motion community, why the in motion is so critical about it, because everything is all about action. You can have the best ideas, you can have a really brilliant strategy, but without putting it into action, it's never going to result into anything. So, excellence in motion is my personal philosophy, is my ministry, and it's basically who Rachel Grace San Pedro is.
That's a really good idea, no? Being in motion. Kasi, I read this book also about yung Atomic Habits by James Clear. So he made a very good distinction about knowing the concepts and acting on it. So when you act on it, there is fear kasi it will bring you results na eh. And if there's a chance of failure, but then when you're in motion, that brings results. And failures really are not failures, but they are good luck in disguise, as Vision Lapiani
First
said.
attempt in learning, right? We were talking
Yes.
about that the other day. Failure is not really the end all and be all, so don't be afraid of failure because it simply is a first attempt in learning.
So, Rach, I want to know, like, was there a defining moment in your life na parang creating a community of people who choose excellence every day? Was it something that, like, for example, because of your story, right? You started in corporate and you worked in big companies and you were mentoring others na rin. So I just wanted to know, was it like a big leap for you to create a community, to start a program, or was it like it's the next logical step?
It's a mixture. So I have many defining moments in life, and I could say that it's a mix of saying yes to my lifelong passion, to my ikigai, but also that it's the next natural thing. So the story of all of this is when I was ending or putting a rest, giving myself some time to take a break from corporate, I really tuned into myself and I wanted to know, Rachel, what does your next season, your next level look like in a way where you can still be who you are, but the best version of who you are, and how can you make that happen? So that was my journey in terms of personal development and self mastery. I allowed myself the time, the space. I trusted that because it can be scary when you're already at the top of the career ladder, when you have a stable position in a good company. It can be quite tough to take a break. And also, it happened around the time of the pandemic. So I guess it was also God ordained because it allowed me to take a step back. And being able to take a step back is a blessing because it gave me that opportunity to really fine tune what are my next steps and what is it that I want to do. So amongst my communities, Letter to a Sister came first. Letter to a Sister was founded in
Mhm.
2019, and it was something that I guess, was a download. I truly believe in the power of affirmation amongst the love languages. Most of you are probably familiar with Gary Chapman's book of the five love languages. You know, affirmation, physical touch, quality time, acts of service, and what's the other one? Gifts, right? So those amongst those, affirmation is really my strongest giving and receiving love language. So I wanted to put that in motion. So I guess I had that concept even before. So I created that community. And at the time, pre-pandemic, I was able to do women's circles and several activities in person. And then at the time of the pandemic, I wanted to still keep up that energy, especially as we had our anniversary. So I took it online. And there I saw the power of community. People were
Mm.
resonating with the post, and I would only post content that I find to be personally inspiring. If there is a visual, a quote, a concept that I wanted to share, and it was infused with the quality of affirmation, I would post it in the group. And a lot of people were responding to it. And soon, it became sisters and brothers affirming each other and spreading joy. So I loved how something that is so personal, that was coming from one voice, and I'm not even, of course, I have a long way to go. I'm not the best person, for I don't know everything. I would admit that. I'm not perfect in any way. So just to know that what is it that I say, things that I speak, raise, speak live, others are loving, resonating with, and sharing it. I saw and I was just mind blown. I thought, hey, this is amazing. So, because of that community, thank you to the dear sisters and brothers of Letter to a Sister community. I felt encouraged that on a professional front, I also wanted to build a community. So, I think what's working is being clear. Who are the people you want to reach? What is it that you want to say to them? And how are you going to add value to this community? It's also a lot of time, effort, and heart to build communities. But you build communities for the benefit of the people who are getting value from it. Ishi, I think you're on mute. And also you have some experiences from your Polycysters Club as well, building that community, right? Let's give her a moment just to fix her audio. And again, you can join Letter to a Sister community. The link is flashed, as well as Excellence in Motion. So, Letter to a Sister is all about affirmation. Excellence in Motion is about personal leadership, self mastery. And hi again, Ishi.
Hi. I'm so sorry, my
No
earphones dropped.
worries.
But I was asking you about the download. So that's very I love that because some people they receive downloads, right? So it's nature telling you to pursue something. It's like a knowing in your heart, and not a lot of people actually go for doing that download, right? Because sometimes it's so big that you get scared. There's fear. There's imposter syndrome. You feel that you can't nurture a community because I felt that before as well. So it was just intuition that when you receive that download, you received it because nature is actually trusting you that you are fit for that download, right? You are fit to be a collaborator. So how was it for you? Like, was there fear when you received this download that you're gonna create Letter to a Sister, and you really didn't know that it would grow like it is now? So what was their fear? Was there imposter syndrome when you first started?
Okay, so I am totally into what you're saying. I believe that God, the universe, nature is always telling us something, is always sending us a message. And it's a matter of, are we listening? Whatever it is that you believe in, if it's God, certainly for me as a Christian, as a Catholic, I believe in God. I also believe in the power of the universe, and I'm a believer as well in the divine feminine power and in our highest truth. So I believe that we are always being given messages. We are being led to certain paths. We are being called to do something. There is a reason why you have that download. Your passion, your fire, your hunger, it's coming from a place which I choose to believe is higher than us. So, yes, there is some fear, but what I would say is that it's an excitement.
Yeah.
How blessed are we to be having ideas and opportunities that are exciting for ourselves as well as for others. So, yes, definitely, it takes a lot of work. Sometimes you would think, okay, where am I going to get the right resources? Do I have enough of a background and credibility to start doing this? Perhaps some of us would get lost in a comparison and competition, what others are doing and where they are. But what I always tell myself is I'm exactly where and who I need to be right now. So if the Rachel right now is having this idea and I feel like it makes sense, it's aligned to my purpose and it's exciting, I'm going to act on it. Why? Because saying yes to myself is saying yes to my mission and it's saying yes to being able to share that with others. So for those of you, if you want to start something, not just a community or a business, but you even the concept of this community pantry, right? It was one person's idea, but it really tapped into a need and it helped so many. One idea, one action, one kindness, one word of grace, it can really spread. But it's not going to unless you say yes. So you have to say yes. Get over yourself and your fears, your insecurities, and say yes to make possibilities happen.
So, Rach, I wanted to know if there is something that resonated with you. Is there like an idea that when you were first starting with self dev, you're still holding on to that idea? So, is there something that you hold on to as you go along your journey, and you think it's really encompassing?
Okay. I've said this several times because it's really my key message. I feel like for me, excellence is a ministry. Excellence is not just an achievement, one thing that we do. It's not a position. It's not an amount of money that we could have in the bank. It's not how popular we are or how many likes or comments our posts have, right? Excellence is a way of life. And I truly believe that. That's why I say I was tying it in with my declaration. So if there's one download that I've been holding on, both in my mind, in my heart, my spirit all this time, it's that knowing that by being at my most excellent, I will inspire others who are wanting also to be at the best and most excellent version of themselves.
So good. So after Letter to a Sister and you were nurturing that community, so was Excellence in Motion also a download? Is Letter to a did Letter to a Sister came before business coaching and the making a program that created Excellence in Motion? So how was that for you? Did you really did you feel that with Letter to a Sister that it was your mission to help others, and so that gave birth to the program, your Excellence in Motion?
So they're both my passion, they are both my mission. The timeline is not linear, it's not straightforward. Letter to a Sister started first, and then Excellence in Motion, I am ramping up because that's my focus for 2021. I have a massive transformative purpose to empower, mentor, and support successful, excellent leaders. But the timeline is really not linear. I think those of you who own a business or if you're doing a creative venture, you can relate to this. Like there would be some initial efforts, and then you would learn, you would meet some people. I always believe that we are being sent the right people, the best people to take the next step. So, yeah, it's been quite a journey of highs and lows. A lot of it is strategic and is prepared, because I believe, like, if you're gonna do anything, might as well do it with your best ability and with excellence, right? But there's also a mixture of flexibility, fluidity, and spontaneity based on how things are unfolding for me. And I think that's also one of the best gifts of community feedback, because it's from listening to what the people around you are saying. What is it that they need? What is it that they're asking for? How are they using the information, the resources, and the energy that you're giving? That's a great way to take it to the next level. So I would say it's a very mixed approach of preparing well to be able to attract that success, and also using my intuition.
So, whenever we talk or whenever we have our conversations, no, you always tell us that you are a recovering perfectionist. So how is it? What do you call this? With letter to a sister and excellence in motion, like how do you combat this perfectionism? Since we are all about action, emotion, and sometimes it's not perfect, right? But sometimes, like, I'm also a recovering perfectionist. I feel that I really have to be perfect all the time. That I can't make mistakes and like that and those things. But how did you combat this perfectionism in terms of creating a business and nurturing two communities?
Sure. So if any of you watching right now, or also to Team Replay, are recovering perfectionists like myself, and Ishii has also now confessed, so now we are two members, please comment down below or put your likes, your hearts if you are feeling this, if you're also struggling with perfectionism and wanting control. So I've been studying as well in my journey of self awareness, and as a life coach, being involved in neurolinguistic programming, NLP, about where the need for perfection, or this hustle culture, right?
Yeah.
Always wanting to achieve the next thing within a certain deadline in a very impressive way. We can get so swayed into that. And there is a certain attractive quality to it. It's, I would say, it's a good thing in as far as it's helping you, it's pushing you to be the best version of yourself. But on the other hand, if it's not done with the right mindset, heart set, and skill set, you could end up in burnout, because it's wanting to control everything, when in fact you can only prepare as well as you can, but also allow yourself to be open and receive whatever is showing up. So, how I was able to recover is first to admit to myself. So this, like AA, as with any addiction, because there's an addiction to the success, to the triumph, to the achievements, right? You have already reached this, or you got this, and you want the next thing. So for me, it was about acknowledging to myself that, hey, Rachel, what you're doing is great. Just by being yourself, just by being authentic, you for you, without any of these titles, bank account, network, you're already valuable. You're already a precious daughter of God. So it was that acknowledgement. Then the second is to look at excellence instead of perfection. So giving my best, and really, and plus also enjoying the journey. The thing with being a perfectionist kasi, if something doesn't go your way, if you make a mistake, if you stumble, which are all very natural, we should expect it as part of life. If you're not having those missteps, it means like maybe you're too comfortable. You're already in your comfort zone, right? So it's natural. But the thing also is to embrace it, but be able to move forward. Have fun. I think my perfectionism tendencies went down the more I was attuned with my flow and trying to have fun. Because I realized what is achievement, what is excellence without a sense of joy and fulfillment.
Yeah.
So now my brand of excellence is one that is also bringing joy and fulfillment in my life.
I'm glad that you explained that because for us in this hustle culture, like you said, in our society, we feel na when we are excellent, when we pursue excellence, it's always about 100% giving your best in everything. Na even if it's burning you out, you still have to give your all. So when do you draw a line or a boundary? Like when you pursue excellence, sometimes you also have to rest, right? To give your best, you have to rest. And when we say excellence, you give your best there. But sometimes it's really stressful or it's burning you out. But then it is still excellence because you are choosing yourself above all, and you're listening to that intuition, no, to that knowing that I am still excellent even though I am resting right now because this is what I need. So how do you draw that boundary? Because sometimes like I am very guilty about this. Sometimes I feel like when I rest, I'm being lazy. Or when I give that time to myself, I'm
Guilt,
not being
me guilt.
excellent. Yeah, there's guilt. I'm not being excellent today. Oh, I wasted this day. I should have done this. I should have done that. But how do you put excellence in that idea or in that guilt?
So first of all, I totally agree with what you said that in order to give your best and be at your best, you have to rest. So I think you have the right idea. It's more of the letting go of that sense of guilt and looking at productivity and the way that we define productivity in a more expanded and self-loving perspective. So the way that I see it is, of course, I do my best to optimize my time and my resources. I keep my schedule, my calendar, and my communications up to date. But more than that, to me, it's all about managing energy. So, above and beyond organizing my schedule or my calendar, to me, it's all about my energy. And that is both an art and a science. You are the person who can feel where your energy is. If you are in high energy, you're in a good space, and therefore, that's the best time to create, to collaborate, to do all these things that your imagination is telling you, right? So we all have that good vibe, and there are techniques that we can do, such as meditation, such as good communication, affirmation, to be in that high energy, that spirit to do those things. But also, you need to have your internal gauge or your meter when you are starting to deplete your energy because you want to avoid losing your energy and being in a state of burnout because that's not helping anybody. So you have to think of yourself as your best asset and as your best investment. And when that is what you're looking at, your productivity is not limited to a task or an hour in the day, but it's more about making sure that your energy is in the right place. And that at any time that you feel like it's getting lower and lower, it's depleting, you do what it is that you need for yourself so that you can get back to that level of enthusiasm and productivity. I also was before feeling some guilt when I would take time for self care, but now I don't anymore because I look at my engagements with others in terms of the quality of time spent and not just the mere quantity of time. I noticed that the more I was full, that I can overflow my joy, my energy, my talent, my love to myself, to people around me, and even to my business.
Is there a process like with that intuition, right? When you feel because sometimes there's intuition that you need to rest, right? But sometimes it's also me, my mind, creating excuses. So how do you balance that? Is that really just intuition? It's just you listening to your needs, to your heart? Because sometimes I feel that they're just excuses. Sometimes
Okay.
personally.
So for me, there are several techniques. I'm gonna share what works for me. I'm not saying this will work for you or for everybody, but that these are my proven techniques of how I'm able to do that. So the first thing is that yeah, I'm all about being my own cheerleader. I affirm myself, right? I'm like, Rachel, you have this 5-day master class. You're going to nail it. People are gonna listen because what you share is going to be so valuable to them. So first is affirm yourself. Tell yourself that you're a superstar, that by being at your best you can be a blessing, that you are valuable, that you have a message to share. Affirm yourself. Then the second is I intentionally schedule time in my calendar for self-care. And I think maybe a lot can use this also. I color code my online calendar. So this is about work, this is about health, this is about me time, this is about spending time fostering my connections with family, with friends, with colleagues. So I make sure I treat self-care as if it was a meeting or as if it was a task. Because if I can spend a day doing my best for my clients and for my community, definitely I'm also worth spending a day to refresh and to recharge on my energy. The third is because the first is affirming yourself. The second is being intentional in scheduling self care and me time, and the third is you talked earlier regarding boundaries. And now that we are in this space of about energy, I really set my boundaries in order to protect my energy. If I'm noticing that a task, a person, a circumstance is draining me, I think about it, I process, and I speak out. Because if I don't say it, then it's not going to be a clear energy. By defining it, I'm able to be clear and can be in the kindest, most graceful way also learn something from that. Hi, Trisha. It's so nice to see you. Speaking of, yeah, so set boundaries so you don't deplete your energy and then intentionally seek out the community, the fear of space, like what we have here with Trisha and some of our other ambitionaires of seeking the energy that leaves you inspired, that allows you to be creative and message. But if you're going to spend time listening to anything, if it's a podcast, if it's a conversation, if it's a video, might as well pick the ones that can add to you, that can increase your confidence, that can give you peace of mind, that can deliver downloads to you. Listen and speak kindly to yourself.
I love that, Rach. Kasi I feel that that is one of the characteristics of a feminine flow. Because, in our society, women would always have reservations. No, we always have reservations. We always have to be polite. Like setting boundaries is us being I don't want to say the word, but it parang the society limits us that we can speak for ourselves, right? I don't know if you have experienced this, if you have an experience with it like that, but when you set boundaries, it's like you're being bossy, or you're being a bad person. Like when you set boundaries with people, you're being madamot, right?
Okay. So we have to
You
communicate, first look at and communicate what is the boundary for. Because if everything was working, if the circumstance is great, if the environment is conducive, if the relationship is healthy, then it's flowing. the moment that you feel the need to set a boundary, it means that there is something that is not in balance. So to combat what you're saying about being afraid, hesitant, or uh, becoming a people pleaser and avoiding being misinterpreted with setting a boundary, understand first, why am I setting this boundary? Validate it, right? From your observation, from your feelings, from dynamics, and the way that you communicate it is also in a graceful, respectful, and clear manner. Because there are plenty of ways to go about it. And what I've learned from practicing boundaries is that people who are of the same energy and vibration level as you, they would not only understand, but that they would appreciate it. So, for instance, someone says, "Hey, can you meet me this time, right? This day, this time." And you check as much as you want to, but your calendar is full. Then think about it. Do I want to have this connection with this person? Do I want to give and receive energy from them? And then say, oh, actually, I also want to spend time with you. It's just that I'm busy on that day. How about, and then you make a suggestion. Maybe someone is proposing a project to you. You can give your feedback, but say, my priorities right now are one, two, three. I would love to bounce off ideas with you or give you feedback, but unfortunately, I have a lot of things on my plate right now. So there's a way of doing it that is also with clarity, with grace, being respectful. And for all you know, it could also shed a light and give
Yeah.
a lesson to the person who's receiving it. Because are they always the kind of person who asks things last minute? Do they before dumping on you, do they ask and clarify if you have the emotional bandwidth to take this on? So it's a give and take process. It's not being bossy. It's not being mean. It's being clear in terms of what you can accept and what you are willing to give that is mutually beneficial and agreeable for both parties. And when done right, setting boundaries can actually foster a closer relationship because now there's no pretense, there's no people pleasing, that you are napipilitan lang, that you're saying yes, but you cannot show full out with your full energy. When you're setting boundaries, then it's also biblical. It says in the Bible that your yes be yes and your no be no. When you are clear, then the things that you say yes to, you entertain and that you commit to, you can have your full time attention and energy towards it.
I think being able to say that, to say yes when you mean yes and saying no when you mean no, it's actually self mastery, right? It's knowing where
Yes.
boundaries are, knowing that doing something will deplete your energy, knowing a connection with someone is not um, really connecting, right? So were you a people pleaser before? How did it come to that realization? How did you set the, I mean, how was it for you? What were there some things that you regretted?
Okay.
um
So as you can tell, I'm very social. I love working with people. I'm an extrovert. And that's all the more how I come to learn about boundaries. Uh, I don't have any regrets because what I've learned is that, as I mentioned, the people who are vibrating in the same frequency as you, and those are the people who should be in your theory of space, they understand, they appreciate, and that creates a better dynamics between the two of you. And I guess it was also on the part of myself realizing, and this was painful for a time until I fully embraced it. There was a point when I told myself and I finally realized you cannot be everything to everyone. Because when you are trying so much, when you're trying too hard, that's unnecessary burden. That's a heavy energy. And also, it's not true. Because when you trust and surrender, again, I say, you are divinely guided. You are exactly who and where you need to be right now. Don't be afraid to ask for support. Take a pause. It doesn't always have to be in such a hurried schedule, being so hectic but going around in circles. So for me, there was a painful moment also that I wanted the validation of being able to please people and to say yes, but realizing that it was costing me personally in terms of my peace of mind, in terms of my joyful disposition, and even my physical energy. When I realized that, I acknowledge I cannot be everything to everyone. But with that realization that I cannot be everything to everyone, then the ones that I choose and who choose me as well to exchange energy, I show up for them fully present and with a full heart. So it evolved, it expanded, and it deepened my sense of connection also the moment that I focused on that. It's the quality of your energy and your connection that matters most.
I love this because being knowing that you cannot be everything to everyone, it stopped us from always wanting to please others. In my community, in the Polycysters Club, I was really, when I was just starting, so I started creating it April and then I opened it in May. So, it was because I have been people pleasing all my life. I felt really bad when people would unsubscribe to my email or would go out of the group because I feel that, oh, maybe I'm not doing things right. But then when you focus on those people who leave because they're not resonating with you, your energy goes out to them and your energy gets depleted when it should focus on the ones that are remaining, right? On
Yeah.
the ones who are supporting because we really have different energies. And so when people say goodbye to you, it's okay knowing that when it's okay with you, the people who are going to support you and who will resonate with you, they will come and they will be with you all the way. So I want to thank you for that. You cannot be everything to everyone because
Yeah.
it's a good reminder for those who please others all the time. Yun. I
You know
really
what?
love it.
You know what's my trick or my antidote against that? Whenever I am putting out something, it's a program, it's content, communication. Whenever I'm putting out something, I first think, do I like this? Do I find this to be adding grace, inspiration, knowledge, energy, or even just good vibes out into the world? Am I willing to stand by this? That's what I ask myself. And if the answer is yes, I'm going to go ahead. Because then, no matter what the reaction of everyone around me is, if it's well received or not quite as I expected, then I'm completely fine with it. Because I know to myself that I created this out of this intention, and my heart is to share this message. I was called to speak about this. That's what I always do. Everything in Letter to a Sister, Excellence in Motion Community, my programs, I ask myself, me personally, is this something that I like? Is it something that is putting a smile to my face? Is it giving me information? Is it elevating me? And if the answer is yes, I put it out there because I believe in it. When you believe in what you are doing, it doesn't matter what other people think. And again, what's a new conversation that you could be having with yourself instead of, oh, they didn't quite like it. How about the ones who appreciated it? I think that's one of the downfalls in terms of social media. People nowadays are looking at engagement in terms of vanity metrics. How many likes, how many views, has this gone viral? Is it on the latest and hottest platform? But communication is all about storytelling. Communication is all about connecting with someone. It's sharing an idea. It's having that inspired moment with them. So to me, that matters so much more.
That's so good, no? Kasi, was there a time in your life where when you felt the same thing I did? Like, for example, during the first phase of Excellence in Motion or Letter to a Sister, was there like uh, an imposter syndrome na, oh, maybe I'm not doing this right. Maybe I should just stop this. Because it's a download, you have an intention, you have a vision. But then when you see the community, they don't understand the vision and they leave you. Was there something na you felt that was lacking in you during the first phases?
Okay. Nahirapan ako. I'll be very upfront. Nahirapan ako sagutin, Ishi, about imposter syndrome because I have a full conviction I've never experienced imposter syndrome because I'm sure that I'm true to me. I'm true to myself.
You know
Whether people like it or they don't, okay. So, but
that
in
was
terms of your question, yeah,
that something from their
I'll
childhood?
try.
Was it, I think kasi the imposter syndrome is
Sorry,
something you feel.
this I couldn't hear you well. Go ahead.
Hello. I feel kasi because of what you said na you honestly feel that you didn't have it. And I think it was because of your childhood. I think that when the parents have
Psychology.
in a way, or do you have an answer for the question I had?
No, no. I want to be very careful around this because I feel like there are many spaces who use the topic of imposter syndrome because it's trendy. So I just want to be clear not to not to
Yeah. Delve.
judge people's experiences because we each have our own thing and it's very valid, but it's also not something to be seen as a psychological problem or why are you like this and why is the other person like that. So I'm only able to speak for myself, Ishi. I don't want to speak about others experience. So for me, I didn't feel the imposter syndrome because I've always been true to myself. If it doesn't feel right, I'm not going to do it. And I guess what you were saying about upbringing, I I'm the kind of person that I keep certain counsel or wisdom. So if I'm hesitating about something, I'm going to ask people whom I truly love, admire, trust, and respect. So that's my dad, my mom, my brilliant uncles and aunts, my mentors and my coaches, even my spiritual family at church. So I wouldn't do it, I wouldn't launch it, I wouldn't release it if I'm not 100% about it, as I said. And if I'm not 100%, then I would admit that I'm not 100%, and I'll try to by research, by counsel, by experimenting, by taking an inspired action so that I could calibrate. So that's me and my experience. For anyone who thinks that they are having imposter syndrome, I'm not an expert on this, but what I could say is why maybe think and journal. Why do you think that you are being an imposter? Right? Because only you can say how compelling a certain message is for you. If you feel in your heart that this is who I am, this is my message, then feel free to share because you will always attract the people who are in your energy and who want to listen to you. If you're not, then I can advise what I've done, which is to listen to the wisdom and counsel and have a sense of discernment. And you also don't need to be pressured and in a frenzy and hurried just to do things or to put things out because everyone else is doing it. You can tweak the timeline, you can change the approach, you can come from a perspective where you would feel that conviction, that clarity, and that conviction. So you wouldn't feel the imposter syndrome. Because let's not throw the word around so lightly. Um, because I feel like if you measure what's the cost and the benefit of what we were discussing earlier, saying yes to what you're meant to do, to that download, to that blessing from God, from the universe, from nature, when you weigh that out, do you really want to spend your time thinking about all the negative things that could happen or yourself in comparison with others? That's just my take. And thank you for all the love,
Love,
speakers,
love.
manager, and habits coach, and our dear sister also, Badette Araulio.
Hi, Coach Bads. I signed up for her come out challenge so that I will be more confident. Hi, Coach Bads. And she
Yeah,
sent me
that's
yeah,
that's a good
I
tip,
really love
right?
it. Yeah.
If you're not sure how to do something, ask someone who is doing it or at least one step ahead from you or who could point you to the right people or join a space, a community where they're doing exactly that. That's one of the good ways. We overanalyze. We put so many labels to things. Keep it simple. What is true? What feels good? What is an inspired action that I can take?
This idea, I just remembered, with the perfectionism that I was feeling as well. So when I started the community, for women with PCOS, I felt like I had to be perfect. Like, oh, okay, I'm gonna talk about habits. Oh, I'm gonna talk about weight loss or how I'm losing the weight. But then when I started the Polycysters Club, I wasn't near all of that. But I always wanted to get the results first, and then I will show the world the results that I got from my own systems. But then I thought about that. Na, oh, maybe I should just start because I know in my heart that someone will resonate with the message, and someone will see the journey that you are having and be inspired with that journey. They want to go through it with you and not just see you as the end result. So I'm really grateful for that, I know, message that you have. So if I wanted to ask you this. How do you react with grace when there are unpredictable events happening in your life? Even in just in your business and stuff, there are unpredictable things, because sometimes it's really hard to act with grace and to show up once you of course we're all human, we all experience energy depletion, anger, and stuff like that. So how do you show up with grace still in your community?
So I am definitely not perfect in terms of reactions, in terms of overcoming challenges, situations, and hardships in life. I'm far from it. Like you and like our dear sisters and brothers who are watching, I'm also a work in progress when it comes to those things. And that's the beauty of life that we always keep learning. I look at Grace as well. First of all, I'm kind of reminded because it's in my name, right? Rachel, Rachel Grace, and also my dad, very smartly coined my speaking engagements as Rachel speaks Grace. So I am big on the concept of grace. I think the best example is thinking like, what would God do? What would love do? If I were in a calm
space, in a loving space, if I were in my highest and truest self, what does that tell me that I should do for this moment? So sometimes you get it right, sometimes you have to try again, but it's about that thinking, what is the best thing that I can do in this situation? How can I exhibit or demonstrate what I've seen from people around me who were able to do this well, do this the right way? And then also, it's really that acceptance that, okay, if it's not the right thing, at least I did my best for this moment. I gave it all that I could, and that's good enough. I think the grace is coming from a place of self-compassion,
Mm.
forgiving ourselves, not having unrealistic expectations because we're human.
That's good, Rach. That's really excellence, no? That's really embodying excellence. So, do you still encounter instances where your mind stops you from pursuing big dreams, or like when there are still excuses in your head? Like even now that you're growing your communities, people trust you, do you still have those things?
From time to time, yes. And the excuses, the questions, the doubts are not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's all about the way that we frame it. So, for instance, you have a certain business idea and you're having those questions. It's also good because that's your mind taking an assessment of the risks. It's taking into account what are the things that I could prepare for. So what I do is I list it out, and again I seek counsel, I do my own research, I do a test, or I sleep on it, I tune in with myself. So I think it's perfectly normal, but take note of it and then do your best to process it based on a way that is also most comfortable for you, in a way that, because I was speaking earlier about having that full conviction. So it's also okay to entertain these so that when you address them, it's good that it's coming up. Then you can have that full confidence and conviction.
So, if there is any advice that you would like to give to people who are just starting out, who feel like, when I met you, I was just starting to choose excellence in my life. Because when I was in my 20s, I felt that I wasn't showing up for myself. I wasn't choosing excellence. I was just choosing what's fun, what's not necessarily what is right for me, or I wasn't listening to my intuition, to my heart, and I was just starting with excellence. So for those who are young, like right now, who are listening to us, is there any advice that you could give to them? What
Yeah.
would that be?
Young like us, right? Thank you for that wonderful question. I love it because I like to speak to my earlier version of Rachel. So I'm going to keep it very simple. First, trust yourself. Trust yourself because you cannot do anything meaningful, valuable for yourself and for others until you trust yourself. And there are always going to be good days and bad days. There are going to be highs and lows. But the end of it, you are your own best and most ardent cheerleader. So trust yourself. The second is have fun. The more that I let go of that perfectionist tendency, that I release my attachments, that I didn't overanalyze and overthink every single thing, the happier, the lighter, the more in my element that I felt. So trusting yourself and just having fun and enjoying life. Again, excellence is not a particular achievement, but it's being the best version of yourself. It's showing up for you, it's showing up for others, coming from a place of love.
And I love it when you said that excellence is also coming from a place of joy. So I was doing this Mind Valley quest about the empowering woman, and I really love it that um, it talks about having or listening to that compass of joy, right? So just trust. I love that. Trust in yourself, believe in yourself that whatever it is that makes you happy in the long run, it will really work out. Because sometimes in our culture, we always set goals like achievements. Oh, I'm gonna have to achieve this money, this amount of money, or these goals. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that, but of course, you have to come from a place that during the journey you are really enjoying it, you are happy with it. Because sometimes when we reach the goal and we look back in our life and we didn't do stuff that made us happy, we will feel that it wasn't what you wanted. Like when we look too much on the goal, sometimes we tend to forget how to be happy in the process and pursue those things that will only reach the goal but not really come from a place of joy, of compassion for ourselves. And I really love that, believing in yourself and trusting that when you listen to your intuition, the baby steps that you will take, even though you're not certified yet, or you're not certified to be a coach, you're not certified to be like this and like that, and you feel like you don't have the credentials yet. So it's not judging yourself
But
now.
get the credential.
Yeah, yeah. Get that. But like really doing baby steps and knowing that these baby steps will take you there as well.
Yeah. You know,
So
I love listening to you in that last bit. You're on your way, Ishi. You're so insightful that what you just told us, that's exactly it. So we can be kinder to ourselves. We can take those inspired action steps even if they're not perfect. If you feel like you need to be equipped with something, then go equip yourself with it, right? That's the thing that we were laughing about yesterday. If you feel like wala kang karapatan, humanap ka ng karapatan. That's what I told you, right? Because you can always find the way. If you have that intention, if it really means so much to you, if it's high up and resonating with your values, then definitely you can do it. Nothing should stop you. So I love hearing that from you. I also commend you because I see that you are putting yourself out there. You're walking the talk in terms of being in that journey that can help your community. And yeah, let's just away with these negative self-talk, imposter syndrome, or I can't do this, someone else is better. I think as long as you are true to yourself, it's really that authenticity and coming from a place of love and joy.
yeah, with that, I also wanted to share this to our to those who are listening. No, with I shared this with you when we talked with Cassie, and it's about nature and the collaborators, right? So when nature gives you that download and you don't believe in yourself and you feel that you can't do it, and yet you have that inkling, you have that feeling that, oh yeah, I can do it, but, and when you listen to the but and you don't listen to the I can do this, nature will not collaborate with you because you're not ready, because you don't believe in yourself. So it will give that idea to another collaborator who is more willing, who is believing in themselves more. So
Yeah.
you're not doing yourself any favor when you don't believe in yourself.
I would say, as an affirmation advocate, speak whatever it is that you seek. You want that to be your reality. You want to attract that energy. You want to make it happen. Visualize, affirm, pray over it, trust, and of course, put excellence in motion. Make it happen for yourself.
I love that. Wait, how did you start with affirmations? I just wanted to know because you've been doing all these live calls, right? And helping people affirm, do affirmations. And how did it start for you? I just wanted to know that.
Yeah, so I am a believer of affirmation. It works for me. I love hearing myself be my first cheerleader, first best most ardent cheerleader. I also find that it works when you say something as simple as it can be, but it's so heartfelt, it's so genuine. When someone is going through something, you don't know how powerful that one affirmation that you give them can make a difference. So I love affirmations because it works for me, because I've seen how it works for the people around me. And yeah, it's connecting that thought, that download to your belief, to your trust, and then putting it in action, setting it in motion.
I've read that affirmations actually, when even if you don't believe it at first, your subconscious will start to believe it, and then it will come into your reality. So people think that affirmations is usually not helping, but it will, and you just have to believe in that. No, people, because before I also thought that, okay, affirmations, I don't believe it. When I read this idea that every day you should talk to yourself in the mirror and just say I love you, and I feel that it's not normal. I think it's
You found
weird.
it weird. So the thing about affirmation is don't feel pressure to do it the way that another person does it. So if looking in the mirror, a lot of us ladies, we have this lipstick or this perfume that really lifts us up, then do that. For others, they are more wanting to write things down and to journal. For the spiritual, prayer is also an affirmation, right? So you can do whatever is the technique that works best for you. It doesn't need to be a certain way. You always listen to yourself. And then for me, it's affirmation doesn't have to be woo woo. It can be as simple as, let's say, you are currently, yes, speak what you seek. So when you are in a situation that is challenging, an affirmation could be, I know I'm going to get through this. That's not weird at all, right? It's not uncomfortable. I know that I can trust in the Lord. I am divinely guided. Whatever happens from this situation, I'm okay. Affirmation can be as simple of that as that, but there is power in speaking it, because that's the energy that you're going to attract. That's where your mind is going to be looking at in terms of intention. And yeah, it's that programming, it's that trust, it's that belief.
I love that you're using this idea for yourself, knowing what will work for you, tweaking it a little bit so that it won't be weird, so that it works for you. And I love what you said, na because listening to you, it didn't sound weird at all. Like I would say that to myself sometimes when you're really feeling kabado about something, you're feeling that you just calm yourself down and tell yourself, and
Yeah,
it's affirmation. It's an
it
affirmation. You
is. It
start
is.
calming down and you start telling yourself that, oh, I can do this. I can definitely show up for my community. I can definitely put value. I believe in what I can offer. And I
Yeah.
believe in the people that trust me.
You know what
That
my favorite affirmation is, Ishi?
is.
Two very simple words. Thank you. Gratitude is an affirmation. Simply saying, thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you, I'm here. Thank you for my cup of coffee. Thank you for the opportunity to have this platform and share this message. Every little thing that you say thank you to yourself, to the people around you, to God, to the divine, that's also an affirmation. It's speaking appreciation about everything that is around you. So definitely, I'm an affirmation advocate, and that's the spirit that we want to share in the letter to a sister community. Same as with excellence in motion. It's also lifting each other up to be the best version to show up for ourselves in our personal leadership and our business leadership.
I love how you said how you said that. You know, gratitude is really something that I think people would have to practice every day. So I was talking to my husband a while ago about gratitude, and I told him that I feel some of us, you know, when we have a smooth life, sometimes we get so used to it that we feel it's normal. So we don't feel
Mm,
grateful na. But then when you come from this place of really knowing where you are in life, really knowing your purpose, that you are doing it, that you are in flow, that you are on your path to your mission, to your gift to the world, you will feel more grateful. I've been practicing that for a while now, and it really helped me because I used to have anger management issues. So it's really helpful for me, you know, gratitude, affirmations. I've been journaling, and I really wanted to share that, the power of those things, to the people who are listening, and to the people who will listen tomorrow.
yes, life is so beautiful. There is so much to be thankful for.
Yes, that's true. So you know, I really enjoy our talks, Rach,
Me
always, you
too.
know. So last question, what is a femme in flow for you?
For me, being in flow is just being as authentic as you are. Be true to yourself, trust yourself, because you are exactly who and where you need to be right now.
That's so good. That's so beautiful, Rach. So, everyone, if you saw the banners that I showed you, so Coach Rach is my co-mentee, and she has two communities here on Facebook. It's Excellence in Motion and Letter to a Sister. So, for those of you who want to be five-star leaders, join her. She's a really good coach. You heard her talk today. And for those of you who
Thank
want
you.
for those of you who want a support system to affirm yourself and others, join the Letter to a Sister community. You know, I love this Letter to a Sister community because I just wanted to share my experience with it. When I joined Letter to a Sister, I think that was May, and you were doing a Mother's Day special. And it was really a good exercise or an activity where we wrote for mothers. No, it's really you know, kasi sometimes we tend to, because our mothers are always there for us, you know, sometimes we forget them or forget to thank them, you know, and that was a really good exercise, and I love that you did that in this community.
Ishi, thank you for mentioning that because that's really dear to my heart. And I want to give a special shout out to all the mothers and the daughters and sons of the communities that we are part of. And I want to take this chance to say a special thank you and I love you to my mommy, to my cheerleader, top fan, very engaged, very welcoming, always supporting me in what I do, and she's also my example of having joy and grace. She has this certain lightness in her disposition, being trusting in terms of where her journey is. So, Mommy Rodora San Pedro, I love you. Thank you so much, Mommy.
You know, I always see her commenting on your posts like every time, and I love it
Top
so much.
fan, top fan.
So Uh, l- let's talk about your 5-day masterclass and your program. So what is it about?
Okay, so I've developed a group coaching program. It's an executive leadership cohort called Circle of Excellence. If you want to be amongst high caliber, value centered, and passionate professionals who are all about getting to their level of excellence personally, in business, at work with your company, then feel free to join us. You can sign up for a special rate of 555 US dollars to learn how to become a 5-star leader this month of June. In July, it's going to go back to the rate of 997 US dollars. Actually, this is probably the most accessible way that you can work with me. I coach and I mentor for companies. Also, I do one-on-ones by application. But this group program, I put it out there because I want to support, empower, mentor, and cheer on successful leaders. I want that to be you, and I want our energy of excellence to spread with each other. So if you're feeling that calling, if you like my energy, feel free to send me an email. We can book a call, and I'd love to see you at Circle of Excellence.
So guys, I've been posting Coach Rach Instagram, so you can message her there. You can join Excellence in Motion and let her to assist her. So you can message her there. So for those of you, for my community, for women with PCOS, um, and for those women who are listening right now who have PCOS, I created a community here on Facebook. It's the Polycysters Club. And this July, we are doing a challenge where we will give prizes like a free consultation with my doctor, Dr. Cherie of the Core Clinic. So I'm really hoping to see you there. And Rach, I'm very, very grateful talaga for this opportunity that you gave me to talk to you and
Thank
for
you
you to
also.
share.
I support what you're doing. I'm rooting for you. I love that you're on this mission to help women in their journey towards better health, that it's about the well being in a holistic manner. So I'm honored. It's my pleasure to be the very first guest of Femin Flow. I hope that we can see more females and males in their flow.
I'm really grateful because that was us listening or acting out on a download. I just had to do like, Rich, do you want to go on a live? This is the idea that I have. And you just said yes. And it was just really alignment and listening to our energy, our hearts, and showing up here. And I'm really grateful for that, Rich. So if there are any questions, please comment them down. But if you don't have any questions anymore, just join our communities if you like our energies, just like what Coach Rach said. So that is all. Do you want to add something else, Rach?
Yeah, so I'm just really grateful for you. I'm grateful to everyone tuning in. Feel free to invite your friends to the communities that we've mentioned. Connect with us. We're real, imperfect people. We'd love to share thoughts with you. Feel free to DM. And yeah, just keep enjoying life. And I'm wishing everyone a beautiful Saturday. Enjoy this weekend. Make sure that you're doing things that's bringing joy to your heart. Spend time with your family, affirm yourself, and just always be grateful.
It's the weekend. Enjoy. And if there's any takeaway that I got from this, is always to believe in yourself and trust in that inner knowing. So thank you guys for tuning in. I am really grateful that you guys tuned in to our live, and I hope that you have all what you need to really show up for yourself and do that mission that you feel you have to do for the world. So bye and thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Much love.